Here. Mike.
Present.
Vernon. Here. John. Here. Sarah.
Yeah.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any motion for the consent agenda? I got one for it.
The Sun Life Financial Life Insurance, what's that for? Bottom of the page, the Sun Life Financial Life Insurance employee.
That's the life insurance coverage for all the employees.
The city has it.
So this covers all the employees?
The city's portion of it, yes.
Okay. And I was just wondering if them all, if you guys all had it or didn't.
That's our benefit package. Like you had it when you,
Right, but I thought we were doing $18.
That $18 is for everybody, right?
Yeah.
that's the employee portion of what we
Right.
recouped in from the employee, so 5%.
And then this, D&D Body Shop, Fire Department vehicle repair, $1,600, what's that?
That is gonna get reimbursed from the ambulance. We had a call at the park last summer, and the ambulance pulled in with the gate open and ran down the side of the gate, down the side of the ambulance. So the gate was on back order for however long, and it just came in, so it's been repaired. And then they'll reimburse.
How will we see that when it goes back in? How will it? Because it's an expenditure now, correct?
Right.
And you say the ambulance service is gonna be reimbursing us?
So as soon as, I just took it over to Rickards to get the striping done, when I get that bill, I'll turn the D&D bill and the Rickard bill into Jake at the ambulance, and then he writes a check back to the city of Lisbon.
How does it show on us?
Is it a revenue now?
That'll be a revenue, it'll be the expenditures,
Uh,
but I can gladly give you a copy of that when it comes in.
Anybody else? Good motion?
I make a motion.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
uh,
Public input, this is the time and place for discussion on items not already on the agenda with a time limit of 3 minutes each. Right. Joe, Linn County Solid Waste Agency updates.
All right.
See you, Joe.
Mr. Mayor, Council, good to see you. I'm here with an annual update about services and programs. We have some changes coming up to our tipping fee for the next fiscal year. And then I have some update about Forward 2044 process that we're going through to plan for what's going to happen when the current landfill location closes in 2044. So the brief history of the agency was founded back in 1994 when the city of Cedar Rapids and Linn County combined under a 28E agreement. So we're not part of the city, we're not part of the county, we're a standalone agency. We operate our 2 locations. Site 2, if you ever see that mentioned in the paper, Site 2 is the landfill and recycling location north of Marion. Site 1 is our closed landfill, Mount Trashmore, that's now the walking trails. And then Site 3 is our compost facility that is adjacent to Mount Trashmore down there by Czech Village. So I'll jump right into the FY24 rates. Garbage, it's going to go up to $45 per ton to bring in garbage. That's a $3 per ton increase. Right now it's $42. The minimum charge is going to be $22. So if you come in with a weight load, it's going to cost you at least $22 plus tax. And then we have flat fees based on vehicle size. So cars, the flat fee is going to be $12 per load. SUVs and minivans, it's going to be $15 per load. And then the flat fee for pickups and full-size vans is going to be $22 per load. And that's, so that's a flat fee. So if you come in your pickup truck and you just have 1 bag of garbage, we're going to charge you $22. So they don't look and see what you have. It just goes by vehicle size. So I always tell folks, make sure you're getting your money's worth. A lot of times, if you don't have at least, if you're in a car, if you don't have at least 5 or 6 bags of garbage, it doesn't make sense to come out to us, buy the extra garbage sticker from Johnson County Refuse or whoever your hauler is, because it's a lot cheaper to do that. So I just encourage folks, use your curbside services as you can, because, especially for folks in Lisbon, it's a long drive out to County Home Road to come out to the landfill. So you want to make sure that you're saving your gas and your time and your money if you can. Other fees going up on the July 1st for fiscal 24. Our yard waste drop-off is going up to $28 per ton. That's a $2 increase. Minimum load there is going to be $10 per load. Then our commercial recycling is going up to 90 per ton. Currently it's 85. That's still, we get charged 106 when we take it over Republic. You know, I've been a broken record over the years here telling you markets were bad. Then when COVID hit, markets actually came back a little bit for recycling. You know, paper had no value for years. Then COVID hit, everybody wanted more paper towels, things like that, so paper went back up. Now with, you know, people talking about inflation and that, markets have been going back down, cardboard's going down. So it just kind of depends. So we're taking that hit there, but we want to make sure people continue to recycle so we can save the landfill space that we have. So that's why we help offset the cost of the recycling. But for a lot of our recycling services, moving further into the packet there are traditional recycling, so your plastic, paper, cardboard, glass. You can still drop it for no charge out at our County Road location. Appliances are staying the same, $10 per unit for appliances. Scrap metal, no charge, but we don't pay for scrap metal. So we always tell folks, you know, if you tearing down a house, you have a lot of old copper out of that, take it to Marion Iron or another scrapper, make sure they get paid for it. We mostly just take in like old lawnmowers that are all rusted out, things like that. Tires are staying the same, $3 per tire. And we'll continue to take batteries and medical sharps and syringes, no charge for Linn County residents, and that's all batteries. Batteries are a big one that we make a push about just because 2 to 3 times a week we're getting fires out in the landfill phase, especially with a lot of those old kid toys with the lithium ion batteries. Our compactor or dozer goes over top of them, they crack open, whatever's inside of them ignites, starts these little fires. I mean, literally 2 to 3 times a week that's happening now, but our staff knows how to deal with them. We have a spotter, so they just get it off to the side and get it put out. But batteries are a problem, so that's why we're going to recycle those for free, keep doing that. TVs and monitors staying the same. It's $15 per unit, regardless of size and weight. So even the old big box TVs, which we still get quite a bit of, $15. All other electronics, no charge. You know, basically, if you can plug it in, it's not an appliance, we'll take it for free. And then household hazardous materials, this program will remain no charge as well. So paints, chemicals, stains, and cleaners. This is actual Hazardous Awareness Month for the state of Iowa, so we're doing some advertising about that. So if you're getting ready, gearing up for your spring cleaning in a month or 2 here, bring all that material in, and we'll take that for no charge. Education and outreach, we do have a licensed teacher on staff, works with everyone from preschool students up to, we get college students from Cornell and Co. So he's available if you ever want to have tours, have groups come out, go out, work with Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, that's available, so that's a resource that we want to make available to our communities. Moving down to Mount Trashmore, the Trashmore Trails and Overlook will reopen this spring once we get dried out. If you haven't been down there yet, I encourage you to come take it in. Great view from the top, and it's a lot of fun. We're going to be doing the Mount Trashmore Challenge again this year. We partner with the Nubo and Main Street District, and if people walk up and down it 140 times, there's different prizes that you can get from Nubo Main Street. You get a t-shirt for signing up, so that's pretty fun. And yeah, hopefully by May we'll be able to have the trails open if they're dried out. Compost facility, our compost is available for no charge to Linn County residents. Great material. If you ever need anything for the city too, if you have any projects coming up, we will provide that for no charge to the city of Lisbon for anything that you need. You know, I used to always come here and tell you we also have wood chips available for purchase. Well, because of the derecho, we have too many wood chips, so wood chips are available for free. Every community I talk to, everyone just kind of laughs, but yeah, we have our own wood chips, we don't need yours, so understand. But that is down there. One thing to note about that though, we got so much material in after the derecho, and that's on top of everything that the county took care of themselves. Cedar Rapids and Marion took care of a lot of themselves, and a lot of communities did it. We were full. We can no longer take large loads of trees. So if you're a resident, you cut down one tree in your yard, you need to get rid of it, you can bring it into us. But if they're coming in and they're citing like a new subdivision in the community, things like that, and they're clearing out a whole bunch of trees, we can no longer take those large dump truck loads or moving equipment, things like that. So we've let all the contractors know just for now, if they're doing something like that, they need to plan to chip on site and use it because we have no capacity left at that location for at least a little while, just so we get rid of that stockpile from the derecho. Speaking of capacity, I'll move to our landfill future. Right now, we do know that site is going to close June 30th, 2044. That's per our settlement agreement with the city of Marion. We actually have less capacity. We're going to be full before that at this time. Right now, we're on track to be full at the landfill by 2036. That could change, that fluctuate a couple of years because we're in a new area of our cell. They do density studies every week. We look at that. So it's probably more likely by 2038. That's going to leave us with 6 years where we won't have any capacity for the garbage coming in. So our board's already been looking at this. We're going through this process. We call it Forward 2044 because we know that even though we're going to close June 30th, 2044 at that location, come July 1st, there's still going to be 600 to 700 tons of garbage that has to go somewhere. So they're going through the process, trying to figure out different things. What can we do now to make sure that we can get to 2044, and then what we're going to do with the garbage after that date. So looking at different partnerships, both public and private, There's a lot of interest about how to deal with organics here in Iowa. DNR did a big study with 11 landfills across the state last summer with Metro Waste in Des Moines, us, Dubuque, Iowa City, some of the smaller landfills around here. And they found it was pretty consistent across the state what everybody's taking in for garbage. But about 20 to 25% of all the garbage in Iowa is organic waste, most of that being food waste. So we're trying to look if there's opportunities where we can do a regional collaboration to get that food waste out of the waste stream, so that would help preserve our landfill space and find something to do with that through a composting process. So something that we're looking at doing. Other options that we're looking at, there's some different technologies. A lot of these are very expensive, so it's how much we're willing to ask people to spend. And then when it comes to that, we're kind of interested with our landfill here in Linn County. 75% of the garbage that we get is commercial and industrial. So only 25%, so the garbage that's getting picked up in Lisbon, Cedar Rapids, Marion, Center Point, that only makes up 25% of our daily garbage. The rest is all coming from our big industry, Cargills, ADM, Quaker, General Mills, and then all the other smaller businesses. So we still have to meet the needs of our industry here while making sure we have space for our residential garbage. And if we raise the prices too much, all that industrial garbage that pays for all our recycling programs is just going to go on a semi and go to Illinois where it's cheaper. So trying to figure out how we can do that. One option that we're looking at is transfer stations. So that's what, if we do fill up before 2044, our current location would probably just become a transfer station. So the garbage would still come in there, but we put it on semis and take it out to a landfill that would accept it. We do know that after 2044, there will not be a new landfill sited here in Linn County. That's one thing our board has taken off the table. For those of you that remember, when we went through this process in the early 2000s, landfills are a pretty contentious issue. Everybody needs it. Their garbage has to go somewhere. Nobody wants the landfill. So the board has said all the zoning restrictions that were put in place back then in the early 2000s, there's just no land left in Linn County where we can build a facility like we have now. There's just no apple-to-apples comparison that we can do it. So landfill has been taken off the table. Everything else is still under consideration, and we have a little bit of time here to figure it out, but we're working on it. In the meantime, what's that mean for Lisbon and the rest of our communities? One, we're still here, we're still open. Like I said, a lot of our recycling programs not changing. We want to make sure people are doing that, having these diversion opportunities. We'll continue to have public outreach and get input from folks as we move forward with the process so everyone knows what's going on. And in the meantime, if there's anything that we can do for the city of Lisbon, just let us know, and we'll try to meet the needs for you guys as we work towards this plan in the future.
Any questions for Joe?
Thank you.
All right,
Thanks, Joe.
thank you.
Discussion and possible action for presentation of 2022 CLG Annual Report.
That's me. All right. So we're here again. And I would just like to say that we included a copy of our unsubmitted 2022 CLG Annual Report in your council packet. So you've all had access to that, and I hope you've all had a chance to read that. I'll spend just a few minutes tonight summarizing that. Our commission is different from the other commissions and boards in the city of Lisbon because our commission has ties to the federal and to the state government. And our commission was created 32 years ago when the city of Lisbon entered into an agreement with the National Park Service and with the state of Iowa to become what we call a certified local government, or a CLG. And there's only like 10% of the communities in the state of Iowa that are CLG communities. And in Linn County, there are only 4. So it's Lisbon, Mount Vernon, Marion, and Cedar Rapids. So we're in pretty good company. If you're curious about a CLG program, there is a one-page flyer that was also included in your council packet that describes the benefits of being a CLG community. And if you have questions about that, you can also reach out to me. I'm happy to talk to anyone about that. CLGs are required by the state of Iowa to give an annual report, to submit an annual report, and to give an oral annual report to city councils, and that's why we're here tonight. Very briefly, in 2022, we continued to work very hard on the Phase 2 projects for the library and the History Center buildings. And the library building is expected to be completed this spring, and as we all know, discussions are still underway with regard to how we're going to deal with the History Center building. But we did spend an extraordinary amount of time working on those 2 buildings last year. Our efforts also included working with the History Center Foundation and with the Friends of the Lisbon Public Library groups to write grants to support those projects, and in both cases, $5,000 was awarded for each building by the Linn County Historic Preservation Office, and, or Commission, I'm sorry. One of our major accomplishments this year was earning an HRDP grant from the state of Iowa. This is a Historic Resource Development Program grant. These grants are very, very competitive, and Lisbon received $22,000. These funds are intended and earmarked for the History Center Masonry project. In the Myers Farmstead Historic District, we worked with the city and worked with Kurt Blinks, and we're still working to stabilize the structures. So the hay barn is done, the gable barn is nearly done, and the corn crib hog house has not yet been completed. So we're just working with Kurt on those projects as he's available. Also over in that area, Pleasant Grove Heritage Park was designated as an emerging partner with the Silos and Smokestacks National Heritage Area. And as you know, because we've talked to council about this on several occasions, this designation creates a partnership that will help the city as the city works to develop that area into a tourist attraction. And we also worked with the Park and Rec Board and with the Tree and Nature Park Board this year on a Destination Iowa grant that would fund some of the initial phases of planning and development of that park. In 2022, we continue to do our annual education outreach program with Lisbon Community Schools. And this is the 12th year that we have done this. This is a very popular project for the students at the school, and it's something that we are also happy to participate in year after year. This year we did something just a little bit out of the ordinary. At the request of Hills Bank and Trust, we helped a guided walking tour of the Main Street Historic District. This was coordinated through Hills Bank and Trust. They were limiting registration to the first 25 participants, but they had 40 people or 45 people register for that, so about half the group was waitlisted. So if you look at our goals for next year, you'll see that we're working to try to offer another tour. Yeah. Oh, Hills Bank and Trust coordinated that project, and we also worked with the History Center in Cedar Rapids, who provided the tour guide for the day. So that was a true collaborative effort. This year we also worked, this past year we also worked with the Linn County Historic Preservation Commission and with the Mount Vernon Historic Preservation Commission and with the Mount Vernon-Lisbon Community Development Group to try to secure funding for a new Lincoln Highway interpretive panel that will be installed this spring over in Lincoln Square. So it'll be a nice addition to that downtown area. We continue to serve as a consultant as arranged with the City of Lisbon on the Downtown Reinvestment Grant Program. Unfortunately, we didn't have any applications for grants this year. But we did work with Brandon and with the city to try to change the guidelines for that program, and so we're hoping that people will take care to apply for those grants in this new year. We continue to advocate for preservation in everything that we do. We educate for preservation in everything that we do. We use our website to do this. We use social media, and we have found that people in the community are reaching out to us. So these could be people on Main Street, or these could be people who own homes and are interested in the historic, in protecting the historic nature of those homes. So it was a busy year. This year we tracked our volunteer hours again. We do this so that if we apply for a grant and we can use those hours as a grant match, we have those hours readily available. And this year, our commission logged in 634 and a half hours of work on behalf of the city. So it was an extremely busy year for us. We use our goals and action plans to guide our work and to keep us on track. In your packets, we also included a list of our goals and action plans for 2023. Do you have any questions?
Okay, so we're, like the downtown's a historical site or whatever, right?
Uh-huh.
It's registered.
It's
What
a
would
historic
happen if
district.
somebody, somebody came in and wanted to tear like some of those buildings down so they could do, like Solon did down there by Big Grove, you know what I mean? What would happen with that?
We can't stop anybody, we don't have anything like that in Lisbon. So someone could paint them pink, they could
Okay,
tear them down. We don't stop anyone, we just try to educate them and try to get them to want to fix up the buildings.
we don't have that, just asking that.
Yep, what are you thinking about your building, guys?
Any questions for those guys?
Keep up the good work.
Thanks.
Thank you for all the countless hours you put in.
I know they're counted now. It was a shocker too. Okay,
Anything else?
No, thank you.
thanks.
Thank you.
Public hearing for proposed property tax levy for fiscal year 24. Any motion to go into public hearing?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Public hearing.
So this is the annual public hearing that we have to do for our max tax levy. Again, this is just the maximum. I don't know if you guys have been following any of the state legislation, but they're in the middle of passing another bill that could really mess with our budgets as far as the timeline and everything, because it's due, needs to certify the 15th of March. These numbers could change based on the evaluations, based on this bill passing. So they wanted us to proceed ahead because this is the maximum. So if this bill does anything to our dollars that we tax, it'll be less that we'll get. So we can proceed forward with this since this is the max, and this bill won't go over and above what this would be. So we're proceeding ahead. It's very likely that this bill will pass, and then they'll give us a 30-day extension to wait until April to get everything back in order, but they want us to keep proceeding ahead with this as though it's not passed. So that's what we're doing, and we should not have to redo this even if that bill does pass. One thing to keep into account on this, it makes it look like our tax rate is lower than what it's going to be. Keep in mind, this does not include debt service on here, so it's a little bit misleading.
Questions, comments? Any motions out of public hearing?
Motion to go out of public hearing.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 04-2023, approving the maximum property tax dollars for budget year July 1, 2023, June 30th, 2024.
Motion to approve the resolution.
Motion, do I get a second?
Second.
Sarah?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Rick? Aye. Mike?
Aye.
Nate?
Aye.
Resolution 05-2023, approving new fire department member.
So you have in front of you, or in the packet, was Tyler Vanis, had applied to join the fire department. He met with the review board and fire department this past week. They accepted his application as a probationary active member. This will put our membership status at 32 full regular firefighters. We also have 4 medical-only personnel and then 4 honorary members. I feel Tyler would be a great addition to our department and request that you guys accept that.
Is he in the city limits?
Nope, he's outside of town too, so
Is that legal?
yes, 7
I mean,
miles.
so we have that available.
Yeah, 7 mile radius.
Motion to approve.
I will second.
Motion and a second made.
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Rick,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Sarah.
Aye.
So public hearing for parking fine ordinance changes for February 27, 2023.
Chief Shannon was going through some of the ordinances from both towns. He went through the fine amounts over in Mount Vernon. Our fines won't be changing, but it's just some language like, for instance, it says that the parking tickets will be quintuplet form, and we don't do that, so we're just kind of cleaning that up. I don't know if you had anything else?
Yeah, same thing. Ours, the parking fines in Mount Vernon were the cheapest around. We haven't updated those in quite some time. So we were bringing the Mount Vernon ordinance current and gonna match with, the biggest issue that came out of our software is part of the merger, because we can't have different fine amounts in our system, and then it applies to late fees, so the late fees need to match as well. So we're just cleaning up our code to make it consistent. It'll pretty much match your fine amounts, late fees, and everything from that aspect. And then we, like I said, more of the fine details when I went through and reviewed everybody's. The quintuplet form is our old paper traffic tickets that we now do electronically over a computer. So went through our city attorney and had him just clean up the language, make sure it was still current, and then put it in front of you. So yours has very, very minimal changes.
So your parking tickets will be generated now?
No, the parking tickets will still be issued the way they've always been. If somebody doesn't pay that fine and they want to contest it, or if they're not paying the fine, then it can go to district court through a ticket.
Because now your parking tickets are all, they don't use the 2 copies no more. You gotta buy the 3.
For the yellow ones you're talking about?
When you write them, you tear the folder off.
Yep.
They don't have them more because they can't make that top copy. So now
Yep.
it's 3 pieces of paper. So really, 3 pieces of paper and envelope now.
Nice.
But why? What is it? $20 here?
25 for most of them, with a $5 late fee. Which is, the $5 late fee is actually built into the Iowa code portion of it.
Right.
So,
But it's not different than here, right?
No, they're actually mirroring their fines to ours.
Mount Vernon fines are $10.
Theirs are 10.
So we're bringing our fines up.
So they're changing theirs
To match
to match
ours.
our fines. We're just cleaning up the
Language at the same time.
citation languages all.
You and most cities around are 25, everybody's been kind of updating them over the time. Mount Vernon's hasn't been touched for quite a while, so we're updating that. We had a $15 late fee, which is inconsistent with what the code was saying, so we're putting that back to 5 just to match everything.
So I need a motion to set public hearing.
So moved.
Please do it for the 27th if you would, next meeting.
Yep.
Yep.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Discussion and possible action in reference of awarding bid for water main rehab project.
Dave is here. All this kind of happened after the fact was out, so there's copies in front of you of the award letters. They won't be on the computer, they'll be in front of you.
David?
We took bids on Thursday last week at 2 o'clock. We received 7 bids, which is pretty good. Shows pretty good interest in the project. We estimated this project at $3.4 million, which is just about the second bidder. The low bid was $2,695,787.38, and the range went all the way up to $5.24 million. So the low bidder is VG Brecken. Brecken's done a lot of work in town. Know the system pretty well. Looking through the bids, everything is in order. And after looking this over, we recommend that you approve the contract to VG Brecken in the amount of $2,695,787.38.
Any questions for Dave? When's this start?
We'll try to get started as soon as we can get contracts in order and get notices out to people. We've got some utility issues that we're going to try to get ahead of, and then they have materials in the order, so there might be a little bit of delay depending on how quickly that can happen with the materials coming in, but we expect
street, it goes all the way out to Highway 30 then?
So the Washington Street is gonna be a separate project bid, that'll be outside of this. But yes, actually go from the tracks to the patch down at, or the work that was done by Cemetery Road. Is that correct?
They stopped at, that's if we can, but we are gonna stop at 30. We'll get to 30 for sure, depending on money, then we'll go down to Cemetery Road if we can. And Wednesday, we're supposed to work with V&K with the dump truck so they can go over and actually see which panels are moving so they can start marking that out so we have a better idea.
Okay, so this is basically gonna replace all the water mains in the old part of town, basically. What's gonna be up there?
He's shaking his head no.
Not all the water mains. This is,
What is it, just?
yeah, a good chunk, yes.
What? I'm gonna say. We're not putting back curb and gutter, right? Right? It's just gonna be streets. I mean, if we curb and gutter and everything that we tear up.
No.
There's no streets in.
No, if we're on the avenues and we tear up into Seal Coat Street without curb and gutter, it'll go back to Seal Coat Street without curb and gutter. Except for in front of his house.
So just for the extra.
So it'll be Washington Street all the way down to, near Cemetery Road. Across Cemetery Road, there's a section, and then from Jackson Street, north of Cemetery, all the way out to Fifth. Fifth will be done at Second. And then around, School Street.
Well, my question is load limits. You know, the state lets that every once in a while, and all of a sudden we get everything from an Army tank to a battleship coming up on our street, which is why it's in pieces. Do we have any control over that when they divert that? Which you've had happen in the last few years several times.
When Highway 1 shuts down, you mean?
Yeah,
We had that discussion with DOT when they were building the bypass, they had traffic coming down this way. The only way that we can limit what they bring down is if we have an embargo placed on that road. And with it being a farm to market road, that creates some complications. So we would have paperwork, battle that we'd have to go through if we wanted to put a permanent embargo on that road.
well, the other question is, they ready to have any interest in ponying up to make that a stronger road than we need it?
No, they would not. The only mechanism we have is that there is a pot of money that's available, but it's money that's overseen by the local governments, COG, and you would have to have the county engineers and some other communities identify that as a priority project, and there would be some money available through that, but that's pretty low probability.
Well, what we're proposing for that street then, since we have Freiberg hauling stuff out, you know, there's some weight going over there that we're generating. Does this exceed the load limits that we're putting on it? I mean, I understand that we can't maybe control DOT, but we know Freiberg's hauling out X number of weight, as are some other ones. Is this street gonna hold up with that? Our normal wear and tear?
So if you have legal loads and they don't exceed those limits, they're allowed to drive on that street. The street is going to deteriorate just because it's a concrete street, and that happens over time. The more traffic we put on it, the quicker it's going to deteriorate. It's just inevitable that will happen. We can try to design it thicker to prolong the life, but with the current street that's there, what we're attempting to do is to salvage the concrete structure to reinforce the joints. We're not increasing the thickness of the street, we're just trying to fix some of the issues with those panels that are slipped a little bit, where you have a bump when you drive down it, you get a lot of up and down. So we'll pin the joints and then shave those edges off. That'll smooth the roadway out and help to keep those joints from slipping again. But that's about a $200,000 to $250,000 fix. If we're looking to reconstruct that street, we're $2 million to do it. salvage what we have there at a cost that won't get us a new street at 8-inch reinforced joints, but it'll get us a pretty good street that should handle the legal limit for quite some time and get our value out of that.
Because it's pretty amazing sometimes what you see running up and down that street.
And most of the time, if not all the time, the DOT route does not come through Lisbon. It's just the locals know that's the quickest way versus potentially going into Marion and around that way. So, I don't know if there's ever a time here lately that route has actually come through Lisbon. I
Yeah,
think
DOT will use 151 and 13 as the official route.
that people just know that this is a shortcut, so they come this way.
Isn't this like an emergency detour through there?
No.
Not a published one. The DOT uses that, the 4 lanes.
They created that probably 4 or 5 years ago.
So we would be within our rights if we've got somebody that's hauling way over and running that to arrest them.
Well, no, we don't have.
Well, technically, we shouldn't be running that way, and DOT enforcement should be stopping them if we know that they're overweight.
I mean, I don't think, like, they could stop a truck and say you're overweight. I mean,
We have no scales or equipment to measure trucks.
Any other questions? Need a motion?
Make a motion, we approve the 2.5 million, 1.6, pardon? To do the water main project.
Have a motion?
I'll second the motion.
Do we need
accept the
to
grant.
add Cahoy as well? Is that the other bid?
That's the well.
That's,
the
oh, that's the well,
item.
never mind, that's a little bit of line.
Got a motion and a second to have
Son?
VP Brecky do it in the amount of $2,695,787.38. Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Discussion possible action, awarding bid for well project 5.
Similarly, we took bids on Thursday for this project. This is to drill the well, put the casing in, grout it in place, do the test pumping, figure out the water quality and volume. This project was estimated at $200,000. The bid came in slightly above that. The Hoy Pump Service was the low bid at $224,433. And Gingrich was at $243,722 at the upper end. So those bids were all pretty tight. Gives you a pretty good indication that's what this is going to cost to get done. So even though it's slightly above what we've estimated, I still recommend that you move forward with this. These are 3 of the 4 contractors that we normally see bid on these types of projects in this area, so we got pretty good results as well. Usually don't see too many more than this on our projects.
Pretty good.
Yes.
Anybody got any questions for me?
Just so you know, as long as everything tests out all right, then the total project cost estimated is around $1 million, so this is just the initial step. So, just so everybody's aware.
Any questions? Any motion?
Motion to approve the bid for Hoy Pump Service in the amount of $224,433.
A second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 06-2023, assigning street designations for UTVs.
All right, so we passed the ordinance, it was either last meeting or the one before. And then we put in there, the streets will be assigned by resolution, so then we don't have to go in there and change the ordinance all the time. We can just do a resolution. So long story short, basically the UTVs can navigate anywhere in the city except on Business 30. And the only exception to on Business 30 would be between Washington and Jackson. So therefore they could come down Jackson, come down Washington, access Business 30 to go to Whitey's or go to Casey's for fuel.
Any questions?
Otherwise, they'd have to go up Washington Street.
So So they can go any street, they just can't be on Old Highway 30 anywhere in the city except between Washington and Jackson. So like if they're coming from Mechanicsville, they'd have to take Lisbon Road and then go up to Main Street. Just because our ordinance only allows them to go 35, and that's a state code, says 35 miles an hour, and they're on a 45 mile an hour speed limit. So this will keep them on the roads where they can operate at 35.
So how do we get away with it on, like, X40?
I don't know.
I believe I'm pretty sure it's state code for the 35 in cities. I don't know if there's a different one for the county.
I just thought it could exceed.
So what are we gaining? I mean,
That's all I.
what's the need of the ordinance change?
So you have to allow them, so they used to be under the golf cart ordinance, and then they came in and got their City of Lisbon sticker, and they paid us the fee.
Yeah.
Well, the state, so what was happening was, and it's totally understandable, if a group was in Cedar County, they'd have to get city permits in Mechanicsville, and if they went to Lisbon, they'd have to go to Lisbon. So every city they went to along their route that day, they'd have to stop and pay all these fees for these passes to navigate through the city. So the state said, okay, we're gonna pay one, it's like a registration similar to a snowmobile. They're gonna pay one fee that's valid statewide in the rural areas. And then if the cities and municipalities wanna allow them in town, they can, but they must have an ordinance and then pass a resolution on where they can have a route.
You'd have to see too, like a lot of the county roads, they're not allowed to necessarily get on the county road. They can get on, like Mount Vernon Road, they can get on a portion of it till the next road. So if they got on a farm, they can be on it for a short period until the next roadway, and they have to get back off of it. They can't just go,
So like over in Mount Vernon, they can't go down Highway 1 then,
no,
I mean, in town?
correct.
Well, that's where it's awkward.
Highway 1 and Business 30 are excluded over there.
So here, the only thing that would be excluded would be on Business 30 from Washington Street to the west and from Jackson Street to the east. So everywhere else they can navigate.
Are we
They
gonna,
still get the
does this
KC.
include, we're gonna put up signage for restricting this access, or is this just something that they're gonna have to look up on our website?
How do you wanna?
That's up to you guys, how you wanna do it, how you wanna sign it appropriately.
Are you
I
gonna
don't know
enforce
if we are, in Mount Vernon, I don't think, I don't know. Because it's so random by city. A lot of them will mark the trail, like they might ban everything except for this roadway, and do it kind of the opposite side of that, from there, but,
Maybe make a sign with
No ATVs. yeah.
No UTVs past this point.
I don't know.
Maybe we put something out there where UTVs with an arrow going to the
I
right
was gonna say
at
that.
Lisbon Road or at Lisbon Boulevard and 30, or Business 30. So that way they know not to go left.
Are we creating a problem without solving a problem?
Well, you're not really, I mean, you have to define them, we have to give a definition,
We have to give a definition.
and that's why we're,
Basically, they can go anywhere but those two places. And I don't think we really want them on Business 30, other than
there's a speed limit difference between, you know,
Just your
especially with the
disaster.
hills and the
We're
visibility.
covering your businesses,
yeah.
other than that.
They can get everywhere with this here. They can safely get everywhere they need to be in Lisbon, or there's no restrictions really.
It sounds like an enforcement nightmare.
Oh, it is,
Police.
absolutely, but, you know, we'll roll with that, and we haven't wrote the ticket yet, so that tells you. We'll see where it goes, but I don't think we've got a repeat offender on the same violation or anything like that either, so usually if we educate them, tell them where they can and can't go, and it hasn't been a problem necessarily.
They can even goes down to First Avenue through a guy's yard, don't they? They get those bike.
No, I don't care.
I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Got a motion, I have a second.
Second.
Motion a second. Rick.
Paul.
John.
Aye.
Sarah.
Aye.
Mike. Nate.
Aye.
Correspondence.
This came in late too. We can see that a letter from St. Luke's, or Unity Point St. Luke's Foundation. I put in for a AED with case and signage, and then a stop the bleed kit. And hopefully when we get the pavilion built out at the sports complex, we can have a AED unit and a stop the bleed kit to go out there. So just letting you know that we were awarded that grant.
Congratulations.
Nice work. City engineer report.
Nothing additional tonight.
Public works.
And just been working with the engineers, so nothing more.
Where's your grant?
There's basketball still going on, we got 2 weeks left, and then I'll start registrations next Tuesday for spring soccer. Other than that, I got nothing new.
Police department.
We have officially completed our hiring process for a full-time officer. We've got that person identified and a signed contract in place, which will be good. He is currently in the Iowa Law Enforcement Academy, so you won't see him until about the end of April. And then I'll bring him in and do the official, here he is and what we're doing. But he's already enrolled through the academy from another agency that we're borrowing him from. And then long-term borrowing.
Yeah, long-term.
No,
Permanent
it's the other
borrowing.
agency.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I got.
Ambulance.
I don't have anything for them tonight.
Fire chief.
Just letting everybody know that on March 11th, we'll be getting flyers in the mail for our annual St. Patty's Day dance. That'll be out at Tin Roof with the band Legacy. That'll start at 8 o'clock. This year, we're going to get 2 air packs. They're about $8,000 per unit. We have 12 that we keep in service. We have currently 5 new ones that we're trying to replace these kind of on an annual basis, so we don't have to buy them all at once in the future. This will put us at 7, so we'll have 5 more to buy in the next few years ahead, so. All I got for that.
City administrator.
I've been working with some commercial, retail business folks that are looking for vacant properties. I was starting to make some headway there. We're still waiting to get a bid from the contractor in reference to sealing the windows at the History Center. I'm hoping to have that at the next meeting. Been working with Linn County on the rental inspections. Just as a reminder, everyone that had a golf cart last year should have received a letter in the mail from us. So just as a reminder to get your golf cart permits as that season is slowly approaching. I've been working with Christine on the budget. And hopefully next meeting we will have a couple bids for you for the pavilion out at the sports complex. Pavilion restroom. And I know we've started to get a couple calls. Linn County has started going around and doing the property evaluations. You're probably getting placards on your door or knocks on your door. Just know that there's been people asking if we've raised taxes dramatically because their taxes are going up. Just know that this is the valuation reports of your property. So your property is now worth more, so therefore you naturally pay more tax on that. So that's why you see that increase. And then we're just getting complaints from residents that are parking on the grass and parking angled. So if you would, only park angled downtown and try to park on a solid surface if you would. And that is all I have. Any questions?
Christine, you got anything?
Just working on the budget.
Who wants to start? Sarah?
I don't really have it a lot.
Jerry? John?
Nothing.
Rick?
I was doing some thinking.
There's a problem.
At the national budget thing, Travis made a comment that we need to start considering a lot more equipment. And I was gonna ask, so if we have to mow 56 acres, is there any way that this year's budget, we can get a mower for that tractor?
The tractor's got
Yeah.
more, and I think
The rear one?
yeah.
I don't know, we did.
I think
approve-
you were on that meeting.
You were gone,
We have another hustler.
we're gonna buy another hustler.
Have we turned that PO in yet?
You gonna,
No, it'll be on the next agenda, because Tom walked out. Yeah, he did, we said it's a go, but he wants it like official, so it'll be on the next agenda.
Thank you.
will that be sufficient to mow 56 acres?
It's pretty big.
It's
I've been, no, I was looking for a 60-inch neck.
It's gonna be a 72.
72, I believe.
He's got the foot bigger, he's got one in stock. What was the cost?
I can't think
It
of
was like $1,200 or
I have the quote.
$1,600 cheaper for last year's model, brand new, than this year's.
What's the biggest one they make?
105.
I don't know.
Mount Vernon's got one.
We're getting a really good deal on it because Tom has had it since last year, and actually the price of a 60-inch brand new one this year is more expensive than the 72-inch 2020.
I mean, but I understand that, but I mean, if you got a 70 or 72 inch and, I mean, you go, it lasts 4 years, either if you get a 104 one and it lasts 10 years, 7 years, which one's better off, you know?
Well, the problem with the 104 is I wouldn't be able to do anything else with it except for sports complex because it's too big. That's where you run into issues. I mean, we would want to use it more places than just the sports complex, I would assume. But
So when
I
we,
don't know, I just, you know, when I did,
Well, we met
said
with-
that, 56 acres,
I met with Drayton, we already talked about the summer help, which is gonna be probably discussed either at the next meeting or the following. The John Deere's got that belly mower, we're gonna mow that, use that on the north side of the undeveloped area. And then we're gonna put the stripe kit on the old Hustler and do the fields, make those look nice at the soccer area. And then the new Hustler can basically do everything that he was doing prior to that ever coming into play. So I think we have a plan, but we'll just have to keep, it'll be fluid, trying to figure out how we navigate through it, but we should have 3 mowers going, so we'll.
I just said 56 acres, but.
yeah.
We gotta mow the farm property, we gotta mow around the pond.
Yep, we do that, well, we've been doing that.
We've been doing that with the current
The
60
current
inch.
Yep.
And would a 104 inch mower be ridiculous for that property or be problematic or
And
something?
the problem is there's tight spaces that you have to think about, so like there's trees close together and there's just all, yeah, it just.
Wide open would be a good thing, like the Mount Vernon, their park down there.
The sports complex with nothing there, it'll be perfect, but the city park and the small parks, it would not work, no.
I'd say they're probably about, if a 60-inch was $13.99, I imagine you probably do, I bet it'd be 16,000.
72, you could probably mow what, 2 acres an hour or better?
18,000 last year.
How much can you mow an hour?
It takes a whole 16.
I don't know what I can mow by the acre an hour,
But
but
you can mow some trees grass.
Is there sidewalk removal and replacement on the part that's blocked off now? Or is that,
Or,
you know, on the Casper side of where Dwayne lives, between the white barns and is that sidewalk, I thought I heard last fall that they were gonna have to replace that.
yeah, they gotta come in and pull up the panels there in the driveway. Is that what you're talking about?
Just in the driveway.
There's a few along the way, but we did the walkthrough and they're gonna come in when the weather breaks and get all those repaired. There were some ADA issues that they needed to clean up.
And when will they be back to do that? Do you have any idea yet?
I would assume it'd be April, May, as soon as the frost is out of the ground.
That's all I
That was Brad.
That's council report.
Mike,
Present, I don't have any.
Nate,
Also present, but I have nothing.
I was gonna say,
Well, he kinda just shot that out there.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations to the Lisbon and Mount Vernon wrestlers who made it onto state over the weekend, so there you go.
then
I guess
say
I could
that.
have something.
Thanks for doing that, Sarah.
What?
I was gonna say the same thing.
Well, I beat you to it.
You already passed.
I don't care.
Bad, you should've gone first. You passed.
I just wanna say thanks to the guys, that snow we got the other day now is,
That was rough.
that was a heavy one. But I mean, by Saturday morning, it looked pretty good. Anybody else got anything?
Vince, do you have anything?
I'm done now.
Okay.
Everyone.